Hey, what's going on? This is another one of HypnoPete, and today I would like to talk about something that is really sort of close to my heart, which is awareness. So many people out there you see, or I see on a daily basis, they actually just go through life, often being on their phone, and everything just seems like almost an automatic process without even thinking, almost like a computer program that just runs in a similar sort of way on a daily basis. I guess you maybe caught yourself sometimes in this, like we all have those sort of patterns that we wake up on a certain day, certain time of the day, we drink our coffee, whatever you have in the morning, we have breakfast, we often even have the same food every day, we sit on the same table, we do the exact same thing, the exact same way, the exact same time. You go to work, do a 9 to 5 job perhaps that you hate, you come home, you're craving for the weekend, you go out for drinks, you wake up Sunday hungover, you feel horrible, and on Monday the whole thing starts again and repeats itself. Now, I'm not saying that a 9 to 5 life is necessarily bad. It doesn't matter if you work 9 to 5, 5 to 9 or 12 to 12. It's important that you obviously do something you really enjoy that fulfills you. And it's important though that you have some form of spontaneity and variety in your life, because as mentioned, unfortunately, so many people, they just have everything 100% pre-planned. And doing that is a massive mistake. Just imagine, depending obviously what your life is looking like right now, imagine every single day for the next 20 years would be the same. Wouldn't feel great, would it? If you know exactly what film you're going to watch, what the score of your favorite soccer team would be, if you know everything that would happen exactly the same day in the same way, it's horrible, right? And that's why it's so important to sometimes sort of catch yourself in those moments when you maybe realize I'm doing something that I not really should be doing right now in that way. And to catch yourself and to stop. It's so important. It all starts with awareness. Awareness, which means obviously being sort of seeing through a certain pattern that might be a little bit, call it false, or could be improved. And as mentioned, especially now with social media developing more and more, people being often on their phone, like it's a very common phenomena when you're in a plane, your flight touches down, and people stand up from their chairs, and the first thing they do is switch on the phone and check Messenger, email, whatever. And it literally often seems to me that the majority of humanity right now are literally almost controlled and programmed by their phones, and their phones are using them rather than them using their phones. And it's obviously not the way it should be. Like, not sure what you're at with your sort of consumption, but generally speaking, it is important that you stay in charge and have control over your life as much as possible. And it all starts with awareness. Everything that ever got improved by anyone starts with becoming aware that something is going on that can be improved. And especially also right now with everything what's going on right now in the world, I'm not going to mention the topics, but I guess you know what I'm talking about. Don't want to go too deep into this, but even there, it is so important to just stay true to yourself and listen to your heart and be aware, and not just buy everything and take everything for granted that is sort of presented to you by maybe common sources of information that you always trusted, or even like maybe people that you love, because just because the majority of people supports a certain thing doesn't mean that they are right. In the end, being right or truth is something that you and everyone, we all have to sort of find for ourselves. Only you right now in your hearts know what is right, wrong, and true for you. And for some people, something might be true and right that isn't for others. So there's no real right or wrong in general. That's why you obviously for yourself have to decide in life in general what your sort of values are, what what things you want to believe in, what you see as true and untrue. But it's very important that you become your own master, that you are aware of what's going on, and that you catch yourself in moments when, for example, with phone usage, when, for example, you have a moment of boredom, or you maybe at work, you got an email that really frustrated you, and just craving that little bit of distraction, and just like, oh, let's have a look what Facebook has to offer. And you just scroll through without an actual purpose. The only purpose of this is, it's coming from an unconscious trigger, is to distract yourself from an unpleasant present emotion or moment. And in those moments, when you literally even sort of sometimes have this feeling of guilt when you do something that you know, what I'm doing here right now doesn't actually make sense and is not productive. So when you catch yourself in a moment like this, a really nice technique I would like you to sort of try out is do it in 10 minutes. Whenever you're stressed, you're bored, whatever, even like if you try to change a certain habit, eating or whatever it might be, whenever there's a craving coming up and you know a craving to distract yourself from something, an unpleasant emotion or moment, situation, and you know that it is sort of just you automatically responding to this, but not in a responsible, conscious manner, just try to say, do it in 10 minutes. Even put a timer. I actually tried this. I got this from some motivational speaker. I actually forgot the name, but it's called a 10-minute technique. And literally, like I myself had a moment not too long ago when I was just bored. I put up my phone, was about to scroll through Facebook, and I was like, oh, stop. We do it in 10 minutes. And I actually put my phone away, put a timer for 10 minutes as well. And 10 minutes later, guess what? I didn't want to scroll through my Facebook anymore. What actually happens is, if there's an unpleasant emotion or you get bored, being bored is important because when you get bored, your brain actually starts working and sort of looks for something useful to do. If you always distract yourself though, your brain obviously can't look for anything useful. You literally kill your brain's ability for finding something with purpose if you always distract yourself. And that's unfortunately, I feel, more and more happening, that people just walk through life being reactive and distracting themselves 24/7, because obviously with a smartphone, it's such an easy thing to do. So as mentioned, try it out, stay aware, stay focused, and I see you sometime in the next video. Thanks for watching.